5 years in a federal prison. I saw some crazy stuff. I heard some crazy stuff. This one of the wilder times, I guess you could say. Now, towards the end, I will directly tell the story that referenced that quote on the thumbnail. That guy said, "Oh yeah, that guy said, back up out that man, back up out that man." Now, at the medium security, half the population was sex offenders, and obviously they're sexual deviants that just, when put in a place with restriction, they're going to find outlets among each other and with other people. But there was a large population of people that were not sex offenders, that, to be straight up for real, probably should have been. Now, in jail, in prison, in a pod, typically on the window, it's not a big window. It's a window about that big to that big, and it's about that wide. When people go to the toilet, because your toilet, St. Combat, is in your room. Your toilet is in your room. You sleep in your toilet, basically. Not in the toilet, but you know what I mean. The toilet's in the room. You sleep in a bathroom. So when you go to the bathroom to get privacy, somebody comes up to your window to see what's up with you, come hang out, talk to you, ask for something, whatever. You put something in that window, whether it be a piece of cardboard, you throw a blanket over top of the window. That is how you let people know, hey, don't open that door. I'm using the toilet. Now, people would also use it whenever you saw two men go in a room and put that sign up. You could assume something nasty is going on. I talk about that sexual deviant Strawberry I talked about in the other video. Production of child porn. He was doing 35 years. He's dead now. He died in prison. Now, saw more than 20, 30 different dudes over the course of a year. Just sitting out there watching TV. See people creeping around, sneaking in cells, and they put that sign up. You know what was going on. Plus, every night, at pill line. Pill line's a line you have to stand in to get your medication. It lasts about an hour. If somebody slow's doing it, somebody quick's doing it, it's 30 minutes. At the low security, it was a lot shorter, but at the medium security, there were over 100 people that were on medications. Now, you have to go up to this drive-through window that you walk up to. It's like a drive-through window. It's glass with a little thing at the bottom. They give them medicine, you take it, they watch you take it. And, that's that. It's a whole business of people smuggling the pills back to sell them and stuff like that, too. But something I kept noticing at pill line, Strawberry and a couple other little weirdos kept asking for rubber gloves. And I'm like, they don't have any tattoos. What do they need rubber gloves for? Because a lot of the time, the tattoo artists would wear rubber gloves just to keep blood from getting on them. It's a safety precaution, as done in any tattoo shop. I come to find out, I asked, a couple of them, like, what are they always getting those rubber gloves for? I mean, I didn't get it. They were using the rubber gloves as a rubber. Yeah, that's what they were doing. That's what I was told, and I can't see any other possible alternative of why they were needing rubber gloves so frequently. They didn't have any tattoos. So, that bit of information, I took that to bank. I honestly believe that's what it was. Now, one of the places you don't go, pretty much in any prison in the federal system, education is a place where they have a law library on computers. You look stuff up, books, other stuff like that. But the bathroom at education, it's a low monitored place. There's usually only the people that work in education. So it's not typical COs that work in there. It's more staff who maybe have some type of a college degree or something. They have their own private bathrooms. They don't go back there. Well, it's off the bathrooms down a hall and off to the side, secluded from the rest of everything else. All kinds of nasty stuff would go on out there. There was an inmate that some people called Raggedy Ann, some people called Wendy. He wasn't a transsexual. He had long red hair, but he got pimped out by this dude, this drug dealer. There's a whole story behind that where it looked like they were just becoming an item. Then all of a sudden, this dude, from the stories, you got to believe it, he's pimping them out back there. making money off this boy. But anyway, that's another place that stuff goes on. Now, they had what they called Peter Beach. It's Petersburg, Virginia, but they had something they called Peter Beach, where people lay up on blankets, tan out there, and a lot of times they'd have a blanket over top of them, be doing stuff underneath that blanket. A lot of this stuff did not have any consequence, just allowed to go wild right in front of your face and everything else. And like I said too, they traded pictures, just pictures like you get at Walgreens, CVS, of your family you'd have printed out there. They had pictures of girls they'd look at. Now, a lot of inmates got ones that actually looked like developed women that were grown. I understand that. You've been in prison a long time, Ain't nothing wrong with that, guys liking pictures of that. But a lot of these dudes would have pictures of girls that were actual porn stars, but they looked underdeveloped. A-cup braces, just did not look like they were fully developed, and they took them from angles in which it made them look like they were 11, 12 years old. And when it was nasty, it was disgusting. Now, the people that were not sex offenders, that honestly, one or two of them became sex offenders. They got charged with this, but like I said, that bathroom, the thing that you put, usually a piece of cardboard, they take a 12 pack of soda, they take a piece of cardboard out of that and put it in the window. Well, whenever typically people did it and they're using the toilet, the whole window would be covered up. But I kept noticing, just you aware of your surroundings, you look upstairs, you'd see cardboard, but you'd see the bottom part of it was open and the lights were off in the room. And I heard guys openly talking about this. One of them went by JoJo, dude from DC. And a couple others that were in there were talking, just openly talking about when these women guards would do their rounds, walk around the unit, look in each cell, they would be looking out that little part. They looked open like peeping Tom through a window, and they would be gunning, jacking, getting money to these women walking around the unit, and talking about it. I heard him say, when Miss So-and-so was walking around, I couldn't help it. I had to go up there and get one done. Like, what? Come on, man. These are fully clothed women, and a lot of them, came all shapes and sizes. There were some just nasty COs, big ones that stunk, that smelled, but had an odor to them. Just people, they hire anybody. They hire anybody. Don't have to have GED, don't have to have anything. They just have to get a GED within 2 years of getting the job. And they'd be gunning to these women walking around the unit. That's wrong. That's a violation. A couple of them got caught doing it, became sex offenders, as I believe they should. You're gunning to a woman. Imagine you had one of your family members walking down the street in your neighborhood, and there was some guy looking out the window, gunning to your family member. That's somebody's family, that's somebody's child, that's somebody's sister, probably somebody's girlfriend. I'm sure the guards, they have guys out on the streets, or girls, whatever they're into. And think about just the level of violation that is. That's absolutely crazy. And, sometimes people get caught doing this. Now, the particular story I'm going to talk about, to put this into context, I've talked about dinner time, lunchtime, how they can't just let 2,000 people go to the kitchen at once. Now, once they let your building out, you're free to walk the walkway. So if your building gets let out first, you can walk up and down the sidewalk, talk, hang out with buddies for the full hour that dinner is open. Now, the first building that gets let out to the last building, they get let out one at a time, each of these 12 buildings at the medium. How that is determined. They do what is called an inspection. You don't know when the inspector's going to come. It has to be before. It's every 2 weeks they do it. And they'll have a random person, just a different staff member, go around and do it each time. Inspection is based on a number of things. The cleanliness of the unit itself, each of the TV rooms in the unit, the showers in the unit, which inmates get paid to clean. One inmate will get paid so much a month just to clean one TV room. In the morning, another inmate gets paid to clean the same TV room at night. Same with the showers. Same with everything. But your room, it's your responsibility. You can sleep during the day, but you can't sleep under the covers. You have to sleep on top of the covers. Now that's just how it was. It's how it is. You had to have your bed made. So inmates a lot of time would sleep on top of the covers with another blanket they'd put over top of them, and then whenever they got up, they'd fold that second blanket up at the bottom. So you have to have your room completely. The floor has to be clean, swept, mopped. All your personal items have to be put up. Some people were more sticklers than others, but according to this grading of the cleanest to the dirtiest unit. Now we had a little an awful woman in the unit I was in, not when I was in the drug unit, but when I was in the other unit, before I went to the drug program. That was just terrible, absolutely terrible. If you got points taken off on the inspection, because they put out a report, and it tells which points got taken off. So if your room was dirty and you got points taken off, she was going to come in your room and tear every item you had completely apart. Only counselor that did that. They were super serious about it. And the unit managers, see, there are 4 buildings. There's 2 on the ground floor. There's an outside staircase that leads up to 2. Then there's another 2. It's a V-shaped complex of 4 pods. 2 ground floor, 2 on top of it. Now, the unit manager is in charge of those 4. Now, they want to have the cleanest 4 units. That each person who's a counselor wants to have the cleanest unit. Usually some don't care about it, many don't care, but this one was just awful. Well, we'd gotten a bad report. We'd gotten a bad report on our building. It wasn't the cleanest pod that time, and it wasn't because of the cleanliness of the unit. It was because our terrible, awful counselor that other staff couldn't even understand gave us points off on stuff just because they didn't like that counselor, which would happen. Sometimes they let their little personal clashes affect us. And this unit manager came in there tearing stuff up, having cell searched everything. Heard her running, going crazy. Well, she gets around and she's tearing stuff up, hollering, and she goes storming upstairs, opening every door. She opens up a door, it's got the bathroom sign on it. And you hear her go, oh, hell no. Back up out that man. Back up out that man. Oh, no, y'all are not doing this. Back up out that man. And they both went to the hole. Caught two people right in the middle of an act. She just hollered, back up out that man, which I was like, oh my God, where am I at? I hate my life. I hate what I have done. I hate the choices I have made that have led me to this point. I hate everything about where I'm at. I hate the people that I'm around. I hate the unit manager. I hate everybody in there. God, what just happened? Back up out that man. Caught him right in the middle of the act. And then there was another woman when I was down in the drug unit. Now she was a little black woman, and I thought she was racist. Story about that. Apparently, her and Satan, my buddy, who was an Aryan Brotherhood member, he let me know she wasn't a racist. That's a story. That's a story I'll tell here soon. But she just was angry at everything, hated pedophiles, but she should. And at first I hated her, but then once I got to know her and how she worked, and once she knew I wasn't a pedophile, because I made a point to tell her, listen, I ain't like them. And I got along great with her, as do many others. But she did not like the pedophiles. She did not like the dudes in there that tried being slick. She walked around with this face all the time. Well, it's her first day working the unit, in the drug unit. Now, I talked about the drug unit. There are 4 inmates that are what are called moderators that have already graduated the program that get paid $150 to $200 to run the drug program. It's supposed to be ran by the inmates. It's not. They like to say that, though. There's 1 black, 1 white, 1 Spanish, just to keep racial divides cool. The 4th can be whatever. Now, this particular one was black. He was in the first cell. That list on Undercover Brother, this guy was doing everything with that dude who put him out there, and he wrote it down on that list. But he had compulsions, I guess, couldn't wait. Well, he knew she was in there tearing stuff up. Well, his room was the number 1 set. It was the first one. Well, she goes around and she opens doors whether there's a sign on it or not. He's in there gunning. She cusses him up and down. You nasty mother! Oh my God! And he comes up and he's like, got his pants put up, got everything, closed the door, came back out, and he's like, Miss So, I'm sorry. I didn't know I had the sign up. Blah. Get away from me! Get the F away! What's wrong with you, you nasty mother? You can't keep from doing that until some other time. You got to do that right now. I had to see you doing that. Get away from me! Cussed him up and down. Number of times people got caught doing nasty. You know, it's how what the medium. You know, people could have a little more seclusion. They did something like that because they had bathroom stalls like you'd see at Sheets or a gas station. You know, with the locks on them, with the lock on it and everything. At the low security, you had 2 stalls on each quadrant of the building, 8 stalls in the building, so you could use a toilet in peace with a lock on it. Nobody could just swing a door open for the whole pod to see you doing your business, which that was nice. But at the medium, if somebody was getting down to that type, so a different type of business besides toilet business, somebody could swing that door open any time and everybody see what you got going on in there. And it happened a couple times. It happened that time. But back up out that man, oh my God. You know, I'd call home and I'd tell them, and they're like, that didn't, I'm like, yes, that happened. That happened today. It's a never ending string of things. But some people in there, just because they were sex offenders, didn't mean they were dirty. There were certain people, it made me lose a lot of hope in humanity as a whole. Certain scenes in certain movies where a woman would be getting attacked by a man, you know, physically, sexually. Certain one of these guys like almost cheer for it, like, yeah, take it. And I'm like, I'd get mad. I'd speak up. About got me in a few fights. I'm like, yeah, because sex offenses are awesome. What's wrong with you? Like I'm like thinking, if you're cheering on a scene like that in a movie, what have you done what are you capable of doing? I didn't like that. I don't like any type of rapist, any type of thing like that. And I didn't like even people speaking of stuff like that. In my TV room, I disallowed Law and Order SVU because I felt like the pedophiles were getting ideas on what they were going to do next and how to get away with it. But yeah, there's a lot of people in there just because the ones that were sex offenders, you know, they were definitely bad, but there were a lot of other people in there. They should have some type of psych evaluation or something else because there's some serious deviant stuff going on with them. And it's made me very careful, you know, with my fiance. You know, I've got we may not be my blood daughter, but she's my daughter. I look at her like that. I love her to death. Same with my son. You know, both of them, they may not be my blood, but they're mine. And I love them to death. Now, I'm careful as anything. And, you know, we were at a science museum, took her down there a couple years back. And, you know, I'm real careful watching everybody in there. There's this dude, middle-aged dude with glasses, and khaki pants above his belly button, belt, tucked in shirt. He don't have a kid, but he's in a place where it's like a kid zone at the science museum. And I'm watching this dude, and he starts looking at my little girl, and, you know, trying to walk by him, I make sure I position myself in between, because sometimes people like that, I've seen it in videos and stuff like that, they'll back into a woman like this, so the woman thinks they just backed into him, but they'll use it to get a feel or something. So I'm making sure I stay between, you know, my family and this man. And, you know, kind of caused a scene. Family got a little laugh about it because I said, excuse. And he just kept looking at her. I said, excuse me. He just kept looking at her. He wasn't moving. Well, you know, just all at once, up, back up. What's wrong with you? Sorry. Didn't mean to scare you, Sasha. Scared my puppies there. I said, what's wrong with you? Back up. And, you know, he might have just been a friendly old grandpa, had a kid in there. I didn't see a kid with him. He seemed like a weirdo. I'm pretty good at spotting him after being around him for 5 years. But, you know, it's got my faith in humanity as a whole just weighed down. Hearing the crime of each one of these people and how bad it was. Like, you got no clue. It was bad. Some of these people, man, if you spend 5 years and hear every story of, literally, I was over 5 years in and out, I would say I was around 3,000 to 4,000 of the country's worst sex offenders that got sent to Petersburg from as far as California, Texas. There was even one from Alaska. When they get beat up out west, they get sent to Petersburg, where the guards cater to them. And I was around the worst of the worst, and I heard rumor gets around, and they have a program. It's called a sex offender management program, where they sit in a circle, and the first thing they do is they tell all the stories about what each one's in there for to get it out in the open. Well, each one talks crap about the other one, and you learn about what each one of them was in there for directly from their paperwork they had to read off. That's part of their program. Well, I heard what each one of these dudes was in there for, and it really just turned my stomach because a lot of these people blended in so good. A lot of them look like, got glasses you could see stars with. They're so thick. One glass side that's that thick, the other one that's normal, looking like that. But some of them just look like dudes, guys you'd be friends with. I accidentally was friends with one who claimed he was a drug dealer for a few months till it came out. Vicious child predator. I will have trust issues the rest of my life because of this place. And you can't imagine being friends with somebody thinking you know something about it, then finding they're a child rapist. It happened to me multiple times. Anyway, that's it for now.